Good morning from stage 10 of the Pekoe Trail. Let's peek into the adventure. Starting from Dayagama, I headed back down the hill from the guest house, through town to pick up some supplies, and then up the road opposite the bus station. From there, it was straight up and along the T roads. I must have been getting tired at this point because I found myself spending way more time staring at the floor than looking at the actual views. But honestly, that has its advantages. I spotted this piece of honeycomb on the ground, looked up, and realized I was standing under a whole tree of the stuff. I couldn't quite make out if there were still bees active up there or not, but it seemed like they'd mostly buzzed off. Today's stages go through the Horton Plains National Park, where spotting an actual leopard is a real possibility. It wasn't long before I ran into the first warning signs. Thankfully, after about 500 meters, the only leopards I encountered were the statue versions guarding this temple. Now, a quick heads up if you're planning this hike. Horton Plains requires an additional ticket to enter, which costs $45 for foreigners. Partway through this section, I bumped into an Australian couple enjoying a roti picnic. They were actually the first people I bumped into on the trail since stage 1, so it was great to be able to have a chat and come up with novel solutions if leopards were to try and attack us. If you're finding this video useful, give it a like, subscribe to the Peking Guide, and check out some of the other videos I've already uploaded on the Pekoe Trail. As we continued on to stage 11, we didn't spot any leopards, but we did get to see plenty of deer and monkeys along the way.
This is where you see.
If, like me, you're planning to complete the entire Pekoe Trail, then here's my #1 piece of advice. If you are fit and willing enough, complete stage 10 and 11 together. There is absolutely no accommodation in the middle. If you decide to split them up, you need to pre-arrange transport to come and pick you up. Do not rely on there being any transportation waiting for you at the end of the stage. One of the main complaints I'd read online before starting was that stage 11 has a lot of road walking, but honestly, after so many days of walking rugged trails, I was actually glad for the easy option. There are some spectacular views from the road, so I didn't feel like I missed out on anything by skipping the Horton Plains loop at the top. After a while, I reached the famous Devil's Staircase, which despite the dramatic name, is actually just a road. It costs 400 rupees to go down, which you pay at the bottom. Have a look at those 4x4s in the distance. It's not long until I catch them up on foot. As I finally reached the bottom, the loud clanking noise the gate made as I climbed over it immediately alerted the ticket office to my presence. From the gate, I continued through some hilltop villages. Eventually, I looked out across the valley and saw what I was pretty sure was going to be my hotel for the night. There really aren't many options out here, so I was incredibly glad that the Acacia Inn exists right on the trail. I was even happier to find out that the manager was super friendly, the food was amazing, and they had bottomless tea available. I spent the evening enjoying their garden area and got a much needed great night's sleep.
Hit